finish it, as you can see. I read for 5 literal straight hours, and I got a lot done, and I'm actually super glad about it. So, James Patterson's The Coast to Coast Murders, I literally read a couple chapters. This was the very last thing that I dived into, the last like 15 minutes. I read quite a bit in Harry Potter. I started it on page 80. I didn't read a lot in Harry Potter. Page 122, like the first like hour of it. A little bit of a slower read, but I'm definitely now at a point where I'm liking it. So the part that I'm at currently right now is where Lockhart, is that his name? Lockhart. Yes, Lockhart. So he is like some really well-renowned wizard and who'd written a lot of books and is super famous. And he's coming to the school right now, Hogwarts, to teach a class of the dark arts, if I'm not mistaken. And that's kind of where I've left off, is where Harry Potter had to go in and sit with him for detention. It was kind of helping him write some letters to his fans. And unfortunately, Harry is starting to hear things, and a voice that apparently Lockhart also could not hear. And so there's a little bit of discrepancy on that. Harry is starting to get worried and thinking maybe there's something wrong. Maybe Lockhart is crazy. So that's kind of where this book is left off. And I feel like that was the first turning point of where it got interesting for me. And I think that's why I like psychological thrillers. Although this is not a psychological thriller by any means, I just like when the book gets to that point where you're like, oh, something's about to go down. Like now the story is picking up. All the background is kind of done. We've got the characters reintroduced. We know where everyone's at, but now we're getting to the nitty gritty. And so I can definitely say that now that I'm at a good portion of this book, about a third of the way done. Yeah, a third of the way done now. I think I'm going to race through it. So I am loving it. I still think that I am going to have this series listened to through Audible. So this is on book number 2. So book 3, although I have a copy of it, I still want the full set. I definitely think I'm going to listen to book 3 via Audible, unless this gets really good and I really want to physically hold the book. I think I'm going to listen to the rest of the series. But yes, I'm loving it. I cannot wait to get that done. Hopefully next month that will be in the books that I want to get finished. And then The Land of Stories by Chris Colfer. I did not read this at all for these last 5 hours. I was busy reading something else. I am halfway through the book at this point. You see, just a bunch done. Maybe tomorrow I'll dive into this a little bit, we'll see, but I did not pick that up. I didn't actually have a desire to pick it up, so which lets me know and leads me to believe I might need to set this series away for a little bit and wait until I want to read, kind of fairy tale-esque type books. But like I said, with this, I am loving this. I read a couple chapters towards the end, at the last 15 minutes, and then I finished The Throne of Glass, book number 1 by Sarah J. Maas. Okay, I cannot wait to talk about this in Coffee and Conversation for a Wednesday, you guys. I was thinking about diving into this, but then I'm thinking like maybe I'll post 2 episodes a week, maybe 1 and 2. I don't know, because I really want to talk about this one. It's getting really good. But you guys, couldn't put it down and got to the end. I think it ended really good. But I didn't read, there's like a little bit here, which I might read. I think it's like a chapter maybe. The Captain and the Prince, just to know like the background of Dorian and Shoal before the competition and bringing Selena to where she was. So I'm thinking that I might read that last little chapter. Maybe I might glance over it and read through it. Maybe it's like a few pages. So maybe that's what I'll do after I am done filming this. But I finished it. It was good. I think I stopped. Oh yeah, I started on chapter 14, page 104. That's where I started, and I finished the literal whole thing. So it was a pretty good last 5 hours. I mean, this book was crazy. It took you up, down, left, right, back, everything. I love it. I am deeply invested in Dorian and deeply invested in Shoal. I absolutely love Selena, the princess also, which I literally forget her name. Nahima maybe is what her name is, but I really liked her. I definitely think the competition was extremely interesting. I love Knox. I just think it all just kind of worked out really nicely. I loved how the ending of it went, but also I definitely want to talk about this in Coffee and Conversation, but the love interest, I'm glad it ended the way the book ended. That's all I have to say. If you know, you know. I'm just glad it ended the way it ended. Although I thought it was nice, I was just like, no, I still don't feel it. And this was giving me such vibes of the Ash Princess series. I'll link it down below along with all the books that I read in this thing. But I mean, for the most part, like, they're these. I'll still link them down below. I've talked about them a bunch. I've linked in a lot of my other videos. But if you've read the Ash Princess series, which I'll link down below, I highly recommend. One of the best. I could literally reread it. I might reread it. I might reread that. It was literally amazing Ash Princess series. But this book gave me the similar vibes of Theodosia the Princess, Selena. So those two people, similar. I think their personalities and how they were built up as characters is completely different. But just with the love interest of the two different people, of Dorian, Shoal, and Selena, is the same with Blaze, Soren, and Theodosia. The same kind of thing. Soren was the prince, Dorian is the prince, and then you have Blaze, which is like her guard, her best bud, like to protect her, and Shoal the same thing. And I feel in both ways, kind of how it did go in Ash Princess is where Blaze sacrificed himself, and then she ended up falling in love with Soren, but they kept distance. You know, they didn't know how it was going to make it work just based on the cultural, everything that kind of happened and transpired with his people and her people, but like they loved each other. And then Blaze was dead. And then with this, Shoal didn't die, Dorian didn't die, but the book was leading you towards the same path of like, dang, Shoal, come on, Shoal, make your mark, say something. And he like couldn't do it. And but you knew that's what he felt. And I feel like Selena realized that. So that's what I'm really glad about, that she was like aware of it. That's what really makes me happy. And I'm glad she had it go the way it went towards the end. I think it was for the best. It was sad, but I just kind of felt like, unfortunately, when you look at like the whole thing of like court and the princely people, and then you have people who are like, you know, those who are beneath, the serfs, you know, the common folk. Unfortunately, I have yet to find a book, let me know, of where that works. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, and laws are able to be defied. Like, it doesn't seem to usually go like that. It's always like there's that love, and it's just like forbidden, and no matter how much they want it, it doesn't happen. And so I'm glad that it went the way it did. It was sad because it felt genuine. I just think it should have stayed the way it is, and hopefully going forward in book number 3 and on, Shoal and Selena, it's something does actually develop. We'll see, or maybe she'll go back to Dorian. I have no clue, but I just felt like I'm glad it went the way that it did, because although, I don't know, that's just all I have to say about that. But I finished the book. I loved it. I'm going to be talking about it in Coffee and Conversation, you already know. But I'm super excited. I'm super proud of myself. I obviously read a lot when I'm by myself and I don't film it, but it's rare that I sit for that long in reading unless I'm like on an airplane. Usually I read for a little bit, go do other things, leave the house, but I've been here for 5 straight hours reading continuously. While I was making lunch, I was reading. When I mean everything, I just read. And so, I don't know, I'm super excited. I completed a book, which is really exciting. I got a little bit more within a book that lets me know I'm going to want to finish it, and I decided to take a step back on a book, which is a little bit sad because obviously book number 1 of the Land of Stories, I loved it, but I just kind of feel like I need a little bit of a break from the sappiness of it all. So I definitely think I will put this on hold, this series, for a little bit and just dive into the Harry Potter one, and then finishing these 2 here, and then my books that I have for next month. But I do really hope that you guys enjoyed this reading vlog, 5-hour reading challenge that I did. It's the first one ever on my video on my YouTube channel, and I've never been one to really like videos like this of watching people continuously read for many hours. I don't know how to make the content interesting, but I do hope that you found it interesting. I didn't do much in the way of talking, but it was a really good time, and if you liked it, do not forget to give it a thumbs up and hit your notification bell so you can be notified every single time I post a video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and join the Bookish fam because we're so nice and we have so much fun together. And without further ado, I will catch you in my very next video. Bye, friends.